everybody. How is everyone doing? I hope you all well. Keeping well, looking after yourself. Yeah, it's a bit dark today. I didn't get to shoot a video earlier, but yeah, I hope everyone is keeping well and doing the doing. Oh yeah, getting on with life as it is. So today in my video, what am I going to talk about? I did have actually just a couple of questions, and I thought I might as well. Oh, I had been planning to talk about it anyway, I think, as I said from my earlier video, but a couple of people did ask me about transitioning to settlement, or as we call it, an indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And yeah, because I had attained that, so a couple of people had asked me what the process is and what will be required of you to be able to get a settlement status and some of the prerequisites. So yeah, everybody, how is everyone doing? I hope you all well, keeping well, looking after yourself. Yeah, it's a bit dark today. I didn't get to shoot a video earlier, but yeah, I hope everyone is keeping well and doing the doing. Oh yeah, getting on with life as it is. So today in my video, what am I going to talk about? I did have actually just a couple of questions, and I thought I might as well. Oh, I had been planning to talk about it anyway, I think, as I said from my earlier video, but a couple of people did ask me about transitioning to settlement, or as we call it, an indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And yeah, because I had attained that, so a couple of people had asked me what the process is and what will be required of you to be able to get a settlement status and some of the prerequisites. So yeah, I just thought, there could be other people who have the same questions, and maybe you're struggling or probably you don't know where to start from. So yeah, I'll just give a summary of some of the most important requirements for you, and I hope this will be helpful to some people out there. So without further ado, I think I'll get onto it. I'll just go through some of the most important things based on my research. And obviously, again, as I usually say, I'll give you as much information as I have. But obviously, because again, this is as you know, this is obviously will be a taxing process. So I will really always encourage using this as guidance and just basically doing your own deeper research as well, just to make sure that you don't miss out on anything or make any mistakes that might be costly. So yeah, I will share as much links as I can with regards to this as well, and yeah, I hope this will be helpful at the end of the day. So yeah, I'll get on with it. So I would usually say, just from what I did, and again, I think I had mentioned on one of my previous videos, one of the, for me, my application for all my visas has always been through lawyers, so that this is something that you can do by yourself, but obviously it needs a lot of attention to detail and just being as vigilant as possible so that you don't miss out on anything. Yeah, so I'll get on with it and I'll just tell you the whole process and what you need to do, and then obviously I do expect that you will also do your own research and just to follow the whole process, and I'll share the links as well. So the first thing that you will need obviously is an application form, like for all the other visas, you will need to complete a full application form. This will usually be available at the UK Visas and Immigration section of the UK government website. I'll share the link here just for those who will need it. So it's a huge application form with so many pages. I can't even recall how many pages there are, but yeah, so you can obtain that application form and then fill everything, you know, to the latter, just so you don't miss out on anything. You will need any old passports that you've had in the UK, obviously from your country. If you're someone that has a visa, then I'm assuming that will be visas from your country. You'll need your biometric residence permit, the one that you currently have. So that will be for someone who is on tier 2 visa. So you will need your current biometric resident permit with you. The fourth thing that you will need is proof of your continuous residence. And with this, I think sometimes people don't take it, people don't see how serious it is. It has to be, there has to be no gap in between, so there has to be an overlap. Like, let's say for instance, you lived on your previous residence from the 5th of May 2020 to probably the 6th of May 2021, then the next address should be starting from the 6th of May 2021 to the next. So there has to be no gap in between, and it has to be consecutive for 5 years. So that's one of the information that you need. If there's any travel history, you need to provide those tickets, the period of time that you had traveled, and you need to provide the dates of the departures and the returns, email confirmations, stampings on the passport to, you know, just to sort of verify those dates. So you'll need to take pictures of those and also include those. Employment, you need to provide your proof of employment as well. That's quite important. So that will be the payslips from the entire time that you've been employed with the particular company that you are with, bank statements showing corresponding salary credits, that's your salary, and letters from the employer, obviously. So the letter should confirm your employment, your job title, your salary, the length of work. The letter, from what I remember from when I was applying, the letter should also entail any holiday details, the dates and the reasons. So that's also something that your employer or your line manager will need to include on the proof of employment. And then proof of English language requirement. Now you'll find that if you've been here, obviously, let's say you probably came here, you applied for the other visas, and if you're someone who was in uni here, who did maybe a course and a uni certification here, then you might not really need that, because having a degree here does that's already a proof that you meet the English language requirement. However, if not, then you obviously need to show, because I know some people when they come here, they need to do certain tests, so you will need to provide that as you prove the IELTS. And then other important thing is the life in the UK test. Now I remember what I did even before you have to definitely do this before you even think of starting to apply. I mean, obviously planning to apply is apply for your ILR is something that you have to think of in advance beforehand. But before you even start filling up the application form, just do the life in the UK test, because you might fail, you never know. So just do the life in the UK test. I think when I was doing it, it was around £50. I don't know if it's higher now, because I know they do change each and every year. So yeah, do prepare for the life in the UK test. Make sure you do it. You can get books, but that might not be necessary, because now there's so many apps and so many tests that you can use to just prepare for it. It's not that difficult, and then get that sorted, ready, done, so that by the time you're applying, you have this. Because anytime you're applying, the first thing that it just also relieves you of any tension or anxiety, and just knowing that you've already done that and gotten it over with and done. So make sure you've done the life in the UK test. You'll need that code, and I'll also put a link here. And absence record. So you need to provide absences from the UK, the qualifying period. And like I said, I think for me that was done through the letter that my employer had written. So I did provide all the dates, but also, like I'd said previously, you need to provide proof and evidences. So yeah, the reasons as well, you have to, if it was for holiday, if it was for whatever your reasons are, just make sure you put it there in detail. And then there's a financial requirement usually, again, so depending on your circumstances, you may need to show evidences of your ability to support yourself, and so without any recourse of public funds, obviously. So yeah, there's you'll need to provide your bank statements, and then other documents that you might be required to provide as well. Obviously there will be the application fee and some documents, like maybe, if depending on your circumstances, there's some people that might be requested for divorce certificates or custody papers. Obviously every situation is, you know, is individualistic, so that will depend on your situation as well, if there's any other document that needed. But the documents that I've listed are the most important ones for everybody, basically. And obviously there will be the application fee. Again, I'll put a link for the website, for the government website here as guidance, because I know that also changes, it's always reviewed. And then your biometric information. Obviously, if you've applied for the other previous visas, you know that like all the other visas, your biometric information will be needed. So obviously you need to, once you've applied, you'll be required to book an appointment for your biometric information to be taken. I'll put the link for the fee over here. And then the processing time, now that will depend on what you've paid for, or what you, that's obviously depends on the individual. So there's again the 6 months, which is the regular service option. So, and sometimes it does come sooner than 6 months, again depending on how lucky you are. And then if you're applying for maybe priority service, you'll need to pay an additional cost. I think that's usually around £500. That will take 5 working days. And then if you choose super priority, you'll have to pay £800 more, so that will take 1 working day. And then your eligibility criteria, obviously everyone who is on a tier 2 and you've been here for 5 years consecutive, you should be eligible to apply for an ILR, or the indefinite leave to remain, as they call it, or settlement. Absences will sometimes usually affect that, so please be conscious of the absences. If you've been absent from the UK for more than 180 days, then that will have to be put into consideration. So obviously you need to, if you're applying, just make sure you do, if you've been absent for that amount of period, then you have to put that into consideration, because then it rolls over. If there's any criminal convictions, obviously you have to include that as well, but those might affect. And then I think that's really it. And I'll put the links here as well to the government websites and guidance, and if there's any other recent updates, because I know they are usually, so just I'll put it here for reference as well, for anyone who is looking to apply. And I think that's it. I don't know if there's any other questions, but I hope that is as useful, and that will probably act as guidance for somebody who is interested or looking into this and probably worried, or a bit you don't know where to start from. And there's another thing that I forgot to mention. There's usually a minimum salary threshold that's defined by the UK VI, so just make sure, again I'll put the link here, because it varies depending on your job type as well. So I'll put the link here for you to check your salary threshold for your particular occupation. And I think that's it. And again, I hope this is helpful, and wishing you all the best, and good luck, and see you next time. Have a great week, great day, and wherever you're watching this from. Bye.